I can see her lying back in her satin dress in a room where you do what you don't confess.
Happy Homebrew Wednesday. This is, I don't know, we'll see if it's going to be a short one. I do have not a whole ton of stuff to talk about today. I am doing a kind of a cool technique, and it's under this towel, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so I brewed the collaboration beer that I'm doing with Josh Hoover. I brewed that on Friday evening. And I did it a day before him. I think Josh brewed his on Saturday. I brewed mine on Friday evening. It was a very fun beer to brew. There's a lot of cool stuff that we put in it, and I added some spices and some other things that were interesting, to say the least. And I can't put that video on right now because it's kind of a secret. It's under wraps. But what I can tell you is, for this particular beer, I'm doing a technique called krausening. Krausening is a process which you open up the lid on the fermenter at high krausen, which I've already done, and I'll show you some footage here in a minute. And you take a spoon and you scoop off top of the krausen, and you put it into some of the same batch of wort that was set aside and not pitched with yeast, and then you get it spun up, and then you put it into the rest of the batch of beer once it gets going. And the thought is that whatever gravity you're at in the primary fermenter, once you add the krausening, it drops your gravity even lower. So you're trying to dry out the beer a little bit. That's the method behind the madness. I don't know if it's going to work. I'll pause right now and kind of show you and apologize up front. My son is the video man and he a cameraman, and he likes to take liberties with unique camera angles and whatnot. Okay, hey, happy Homebrew Wednesday. So I got my turn the camera around. Say hi.
Zebra.
So I got my assistant filmer Logan filming today. So we're going to do an ancient technique called krausening. So I've got some wort that this is our clad brew. I've got some wort that I pulled off from the side after I brewed that I did not throw the yeast in. I kind of set it aside to let the beer, or let the wort ferment for a little bit. Once it reaches high krausen, you're supposed to scoop some off and then put it in here, get this to start fermenting, and then you dump it back in, and then it gets the gravity down a little lower. It's called krausening. So we're going to try this. I actually have never done a starter before, so I went out to my homebrew shop and bought one of these today. And okay, sorry, I had to sanitize the spoon. Okay, so come on in. You want to get probably behind me here. All right, so we're going to try to bust into this and not create a disaster here. And see if we can. There we go. Do that. Oh, wow. Not used to opening this thing up when it's at full krausen. But, all right. So you see in there? See the krausen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so all we need to do is scoop some of that goodness out and put it in here. So let's see if we can do that. So this is a sanitized spoon, by the way.
It looks like you're scraping off mold.
I know, it does, doesn't it? See that going in there?
Yeah.
This is called krausening. All right, so the thought is, I put this in there, and this is going to be enough yeast to get this wort going. So I'm going to get, I don't know how much you're supposed to get, so I'm going to get a healthy dose of it. All right, that should be enough. What do you think? Think that's good?
Yep.
All right. Close this back up. Make sure I get a good tight seal. I've never opened the fermenter at this stage of fermenting. All right, I don't know if I have a good seal or not. I think I do. Yeah, okay, that's a good seal. All right, I got my yeast in here. Look at that. That should be enough yeast, you think? Can you see it?
Focusing. Yeah, it's pretty.
Should be enough yeast. All right. It's a top feeding yeast, so all the yeast should be on the top. So we'll see what happens. And I think maybe even disturbing that is. Now this is at room temperature here, so should be ready to just pour it right in. It smells like wort. All right, pour this in on top. And I'm only going to try to pour the clear stuff. I'm not going to try to get the... Try not to get the proteins in. All right. And finally, I will close this up with the... close this up with a little sponge that is sanitized. All right, there you have it.
It's like a really wimpy cork.
What's that?
It's like a really flimsy cork.
Yeah, it is. It's like a styrofoam looking thing, to be honest. Okay, you're all right. So I don't have a stir plate, so I'm gonna have to keep coming down and like stirring this up every now and then. I'm gonna have to keep it covered. And that's it. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Okay, we're back. So hopefully you just saw that video of me scooping the krausening. So, and you saw I added it to, this is the first time I've used a flask because I've never done a starter before, but now that I have the hardware, I'm gonna have to try to get into it. So here is the, it's getting a krausen on it now again. So I think I'm gonna let it go for another few hours and then pitch it in and see what happens. So again, I don't know if this is gonna work. I know that there's a high probability or a heightened probability of contaminating your beer. I've been pretty careful. Everything was sanitized, so I don't think I'm at risk. I know the beer, as you saw, I poured it straight into that mason jar. I closed it right up, so nothing had a chance to get in, and I put it in the refrigerator for a day, and then I left it out of the refrigerator for a day. But I think it's fine. It was really clear too before I mixed it into the flask with the krausen off the primary fermentation. So anyway, this is uncharted territory for me. Hopefully I don't screw up a 5-gallon batch. We'll see what happens. But hey, that's part of homebrewing, because even if you do, so what? You'll just sit back, relax, and not worry and have a homebrew, right? So again, this is gonna be a short one, not a whole lot to talk about. Let's see, I shipped off my collab beers to Tyler with Everdy Homebrewing. So he's got my version of the collab beer. You know, we did a collab beer before this big collab challenge that we're doing. He and I just did a collaboration beer. So I've got some bottles headed towards him. He'll have some bottles headed towards me, and then we're going to do a little video sample trying each other's beers. And I can't wait to see how that. It's going to be so cool to see, you know, what his beer turned out like. 'Cause I know he did a couple of different things with his, and did I do something different with mine? Yeah, I did something a little bit different with mine, so I'm anxious to see how they turn out. And then sent out some beer mails. I got an unexpected beer mail from Elder P yesterday. There was a box sitting on my front stoop, and I just drank one of the beers, Dropkick Elder's Nuggets, and I've got 3 more left to go, so I'll put that video up soon. But anyway, I think my appointment with the doctor isn't until 1 May, so I've got some time. Maybe I'll be able to squeeze out another brew or two before I have to succumb to the knife. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Hey, look, have yourself a happy homebrew, and have a very, very happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.